called out Fuji. Now it's time to call out Sony. Woo. What's up, everybody? Johnny here with another video. I called out Fujifilm for their poor autofocus on the X-T4, and I feel like it's only fair if I call out Sony for something that's definitely needs some attention. Now, most camera manufacturers have apps that go along with their cameras. All the ones that I've used are all kind of bad, so they're all kind of bad across the board. None of them are really seamless. Some work slightly better than others. Like Nikon's, I think probably works better than any of the ones that I've used with Sony, Canon, or Fujifilm. But they all have issues. So it's not the app so much, even though it definitely could use some improvements. But all camera companies can use some improvements on their apps. What I want to talk about today is Sony's firmware update system. It sucks. It's just bad. Every camera that I've had other than Sony has used an SD card, or in Nikon Z6 case would be an XQD or CF Express B. They've all used an SD card. You can just put the file on the card, load it in the camera, update it from the card. Very easy, very simple. Fujifilm goes a step further. And maybe Canon or Nikon and Canon might offer this as well. But Fujifilm, I was actually able to update the last update I did on the X-T4. I actually did using the app. Again, the app, you've got connection issues. As long as you can get it to connect and stay connected, you can update it, update the firmware via the app. And it worked really well. So that takes a step out. You don't have to copy it on the card, stick it in the, That's probably the safest way to do it, though, is just put it on the SD card, put it in the camera, update it that way. But I don't understand Sony's issue. I really don't. I don't understand why they haven't done a better job yet of updating. I'm going to take you to the website. I'm going to take you to their firmware page because there's something else I want to look for. When I first got my A7R3A, I didn't stress that enough in the last video I did. I get an A7R3A, so it is actually a new produced model of an older generation camera where they updated the LCD screen, and then they also updated one of the USB ports. Minor stuff. It really, some people, were kind of like, why? Why would they do that? But they did, so, whatever. It worked out for me because I got, an A7R3 for a really, really good price, brand new. But anyway, I was going in, I looked at the firmware because that's usually the first thing I do when I get a camera. I look to see if there's any firmware updates, and then I go right in and update it right away. That's usually what I do. I'll at least research it to see if there's been any problems with the updates, yada, yada, yada. So I went in and went on their site and looked it up. And of course, I'm not thinking A7R3A is going to be a new model. I just, I was like, surely they're not going to make it a brand new model, even though technically it is. I'll give them that. It technically is. But I went on the website looking for A7R3 and I found it. And there was the update was like 3 point blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I can't remember exactly what it is. I'll try to show it to you here in a second. But yeah, so I tried to update it with the way that they tell you to update, which is through the computer. You got to do it through a computer. It's stupid. It's just a dumb way. It's cumbersome. Some people aren't able to do, some people just aren't knowledgeable enough about computers to do it. And especially if you run into problems, there are ways of getting around some of those issues, but some people aren't knowledgeable enough, and it's not their fault. They don't need to be knowledgeable about computers. So why even worry about it? But the one thing that I did notice on the Mac OS system, I know before when I had my A7 III, there was some issues. I believe Big Sur had just come out for Mac OS, if I'm not mistaken. And there was an issue where you couldn't even use, if your Mac was on Big Sur, you're just out of luck. You're SOL. You can't update your camera, your Sony camera, unless you got to find a Windows machine, borrow somebody's Windows computer, whatever. And there's some people that just don't have access to it. They run all Apple's software, hardware. They're deeply embedded into the Apple ecosystem, and they have no need for, you know, a Windows computer at all. You could just have a cheap laptop laying around or something just for occasions like that. But why? I shouldn't have to go buy another piece of hardware just to update my camera. It's stupid. We used to run across this in some other electronics as well. It's just dumb. It just, I don't understand their thinking. You're basically alienating, you know, a portion of the population because you can't write software because you just refuse to keep up with firmware from another company's operating system. So anyway, I tried to do it the way it was supposed to be done. I was upgraded actually to Monterey, which is the brand new, it's the newest Mac OS. So I figured I'm probably screwed because they had problems with Big Sur. They got that ironed out where they could use Big Sur. Now we're on to Monterey. And, you know, I figured I'm going to be screwed. You know, there's just no way. But apparently Apple had injected some stuff back into Monterey that wasn't in Big Sur or something. And it turns out it actually works just like it did before Big Sur. So it's a little bit easier. You don't have to worry about all these little jumping through hoops in order to get it to work. So if you have Mac OS Monterey installed in your Mac Mini or Mac Pro or MacBook Pro or whatever it is you have, iMac, you should be okay. At least for me, I was able to update my A7C to firmware version 2.0 pretty easy. It was actually really easy. I didn't have to do any of the extra steps that they've got on the website about, you know, if you have Big Sur and all this other crap. But, you know, so it worked out. But the whole point is, you don't even have to worry about operating systems or Mac or Windows or anything. If you just implement the system, put the firmware on the card, you put the card in the camera, it just works. It doesn't matter what operating system you use, doesn't matter what computer, what a fanboy you are of, doesn't matter because you're always going to be able to update your camera. It's simple as that. I mean, it really is that simple. And it doesn't make sense to me why Sony won't get on board with that. And I think they're the only company that does it that way, if I'm not mistaken. I've never had an Olympus. I've never had Leica, any of those other, you know, companies. I've dealt with Canon. I've dealt with Nikon. I've dealt with Fujifilm. All three use the simple method of putting the update on the card, putting it in the camera, and updating it. So that's my call out for Sony. Now, there's other things I could probably think of to call you out on, Sony, but that is the most important that I can see right now. It just doesn't make any sense why you're still doing it. It really doesn't. So put down in the comments if you had problems or anything with Sony. If you think that they need to change their ways and get on board with all the other manufacturers. I know you just love being different and you love being, ooh, we're the different ones. But at some point you've got to bite the bullet and get on board with everybody else because it only makes sense to use the SD card. I mean, it really is. That's the best way. It's probably the safest way, to be quite honest. You know, yeah, granted, SD cards can get corrupted, but you can have multiple SD cards. If one corrupts, you get another one and you do the same thing. The software's not going anywhere. It's going to be right there on your website. You know what I mean? So let's jump over to the website real quick before we get off here, and I will show you what I'm talking about. And it's just ridiculous. All right, here we are on the Sony website, Sony support. That is where you're going to find all your good stuff, all your downloads and all that crap. So we're going to go into cameras and camcorders. And then we're going to go into digital cameras. And then we're going to go to interchangeable lens cameras, E-mount, because that's what we have. So that's how you distinguish between your models, the ILCE, and then whatever the number. So the ILCE 1 is the A1, and then your ILCE 7 is going to be all your 7. So we're going to click on that. And you've got some question answer stuff here at the top if you're confused or you got more questions about different things. But just scroll down to the bottom here, close to the bottom. Here's all your cameras that are marked there. So what I didn't do is I went to the ILCE 7R Mark III for downloads. I have the 3A. Now, I don't remember seeing this before. I'm not saying it wasn't there. I probably just didn't see it. But you click on downloads, and it's going to come here. These are the different software choices you can make. You can have the Imaging Edge desktop, mobile for your phone, your webcam if you want to use their camera as a webcam. Obviously, we know Sony has it built into their cameras, pretty much all their cameras now, where you can just plug and play. It's plug and play as a webcam. It's really cool. I think that's one of the main reasons Sony is just outselling everybody, because it's just so easy for creators. Now, as we scroll down here, you're going to notice there isn't anything. There is no firmware listed, because there is no firmware listed. So let's go back. I'm going to arrow back. And then what I first looked in was 7R. Oh, that's S. My bad. Let me go back. So 7R Mark III is what I did before. Same software, same questions, and same thing there. Downloads, same software, Imaging Edge webcam, but except here you've got the firmware listed. So you have Mac and you have Windows, and of course we're up to version 3.10 on Mac. So if you wanted to update with your Mac, you'd just click on that, and then it says here you have to have the system software update helper in order to use the software. However, I found out I didn't need it. I didn't even need to use the helper. So you've got the file name, you've got all the different things, previous benefits and improvements, tells you what the software is actually going to do for you, goes through here, system requirements. There's just different things here. So there are a couple of things I think you have to do if you have an M1 series. But other than that, it wasn't that big of a deal for me to actually update the firmware. And then here's where you download. You just click it. At the top here, you don't have to actually, you click here, download, and it starts downloading. You can't see it because I don't have the screen share that low where you can see it, but it downloads a DMG file for your Mac, and then you just click on it and just follow through with it, the instructions. I'm not going to show you how to do it because I can't update my 7R Mark III. Doesn't have an update. The A version and my A7C is already updated. So I'll go back. So here's the 7C. Same thing, gives you the same choices basically. And then here we're up to version 2.0. Same thing, Edge webcam, blah blah blah. Pretty much you've got warranty information, startup guides, etc., etc. They give you a lot of different information on the website. I get it. But it's almost like they're just trying to drive traffic to their website. I'm telling you right now, I just don't understand why they don't have it you'd still have to go on the website, though, so that doesn't make sense either, because you still have to download the file to put on your SD card. So I don't get it, guys. I honestly don't get it. But that's pretty much how you update your Sony. You have to go on the website. You have to click on the software or the firmware update, and then it downloads to your computer, whether you got Windows or Mac. You got to click on it. You got to go through hoops and then have your camera connected at the right time. Don't have it connected when you first start it, and you got to wait, do this. You got to hold your hand up in the air and throw your leg out and smile and grin at the right exact time, and then maybe it works. It's just dumb. I hate it. I hate it. And Sony, there's no excuse. There is no excuse whatsoever. You give us great hardware. It's like, give us some software. Give us some software support, man. Just make it easy, or make it easier, and make it to where it doesn't even matter if you have a computer. Like, you could literally download the file on your phone. If you had a way to transfer the file on your phone to an SD card, and there are connectors that you can plug into your phone that actually have an SD card slot, and you plug your SD card, and you could literally copy it from your phone to the SD card. You wouldn't even need a computer to update it. It's just so stupid. Anyway, that's my little rant. So basically, that's all I have to say about this right now. Sony, get your crap together. Get on board. Get on board and make it simpler for us to update our cameras. That's all I can say about it. Pretty much. But anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And thanks for liking, subscribing. Please like this video right here and subscribe if you would. And we'll be back soon with another video Probably the next video, I'm probably going to be talking about the A7C and the two accessories you must have for the A7C. It will definitely, they're huge improvements. Huge improvements. It might make a difference whether you buy the camera or not. So we'll see you again. Thank you. Subscribe, like, all that good stuff. And I'm done.